Viewers, today I have the pleasure of company of a princess. And this person is gracing our channel for the very first time. And in my opinion, she is the princess of Hinduism. Born in a royal family, I have not seen many people of the royal lineage, but I do know this person quite well. And she's one of the most simplest and gracious persons that I've ever had the opportunity of meeting. Meet Lakshmi Bayi Nalapat, the erstwhile princess of the Royal Kingdom of Travancore, now a guest on PGurus channel. Lakshmi ji, welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaste, 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 Shri, and thank you for having me on your channel.
So, Lakshmi ji, today we are going to talk about a topic which is very close to my heart because growing up, there are so many things you learn about Hinduism, but if you look at the source of all this stuff, it takes a while before you start realizing that everything in this cosmos, it all begins with Shakti. Now, Shakti is a goddess and it takes its rupams in many different ways. And I'd like you to share your view and understanding of Goddess Shakti. And I think coming from you, it would be one of the most authentic, descriptions of how this concept has evolved and how she is at the center of everything in this universe. Over to you.
Actually, Shri, it's such a lovely subject because, like you, Shakti is very, very dear to me. Now, let's take the three main male gods. We'll start with that of Hinduism, okay? Brahma, creator, Vishnu, preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. They say that when Mahavishnu was sleeping on the three coils of Ananta in the Karana Jala, he was neutral in the sense he was not positive. There was no positive energy. There was no negative energy. It was just nothing. And then he heard an Omkar. Okay. And after hearing the Omkar, he opened his eyes. From his navel, the lotus sprouted, and on it the Brahma, and Brahma started creation, and so on and so forth. Now, my question is, in that shunyata, for lack of better word, or nothingness, who actually said the Omkar, which activated Mahavishnu? Not only nothingness comes from nothingness, right? So, according to me, she was the Omkar. She was the sound. She was the manifestation of the sound. She was what pushed Vishnu to push Brahma, if I may say so, to start creation. So that is my genesis of Adi Parashakti.
Now, one of the names is she is the Janani and she is the Jagat Karani, which is like she is the mother or the creator, and Jagat Karani, reason for the earth. So there are many names of Shakti that is worshipped as goddesses all over India. I mean, I can start from Balochistan, Hinglaj Mataji, Tara Tarini in Brahmapur, Odisha, Katyayani in Delhi, Bhadrakali in Kodangalur, Kerala, Kamakhya in Assam, Kali in Kalighat, which is Kolkata, and Guhyeshwari Temple Devi in Kathmandu, Nepal. I mean, you see this is a vast universe of names. And yet, for some reason, we don't seem to appreciate the women in our lives. I'm being very stereotypical in this observation. I'm sorry to say that, but we should be really according the woman in our lives the respect she deserves because she's the reason for everything. And I'd like you to perhaps talk a little bit more about the various forms that Goddess Shakti has taken. Like, for example, she is the consort of Brahma, Goddess Saraswati, and consort of Vishnu, Lakshmi, and consort of Shiva, Parvati. So you can say there are 30 crore gods, but come on now. I mean, it all comes down to some very basic concept. That thing is something that is the underlying fabric or bed of Hinduism. I'm sorry, I'm taking a long time. I'm trying to frame the question for you. So, what is your view of this thing? How do we simplify this dharma, this great dharma, for the rest of the world?
I would say that Shakti is like a diamond. Okay, a diamond which is a diamond all through, but like a diamond, like a polished diamond, like a a diamond which is visible. There are so many facets to that. Okay, so you right from the bindu in the Sri Chakra, which is completely esoteric. It's just a dot. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sort of translating it into very extremely simple terms.
Yes. Yes.
From the dot of the Sri Chakra, okay, um, you have so many manifestations of Ambal. I mean, she's called Ambal in your mother tongue, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
you have Saraswati. You have the traditional female consorts of the male Shaktis. You have standalone Shaktis, which are the Dashamaha Vidyas. Now, the beauty of Hinduism is that you can the sadhak or the devotee has 100% freedom to choose that form of the mother goddess which resonates most with himself or herself. Okay, now if you are a student, obviously you go to Saraswati. If you are a businessman, I mean, my namesake Lakshmi is one goddess who's throughout India, right? And for victory you need Kali. Now you have some very interesting, very esoteric forms of the Bhagavati. There are lots of forms which are very localized, very localized. Now of the of the Saptamatrikas, there is a Varahi, which is she's actually pig faced. She's called Varahi, like Varaha.
Varaha.
Varaha
Right. Right.
means
Right. Mm.
Kurma Varahasya Narasimhasya, so she's the she's Varahi. And in Varahi, for example, Varahi is a Sanskrit name. Now in Idiki in Kerala, she's called Panni Mukhi. Not
Same thing. Yeah. Mm.
no, not without respect. She is worshipped as Panni Mukhi. That is my point. It's not a derogatory term at all. Okay. Now you have Baglamukhi, the stock-faced Ma. Then you have this Chinnamasta, which lots of people they are terrified by her. But actually, Chinnamasta is one of the kindest goddesses. Chinnamasta basically is Ma with her head cut off, and there are 3 streams of blood from her severed neck. It goes to Dagini and Shakini, her 2 friends, and she's held her cut off head in one of her own hands, and 1 stream of blood goes into her hand, into her own mouth. Now the story behind it, it's a very violent, it's an extremely violent picturization. The story is that they were all on their way to Kailas when Dagini and Shakini said, "Look, we are feeling very thirsty." So she said, let's go to, let's go home and then we'll have something to drink. So they're like, no, we're dying of thirst. We need something now. And then what Ma does is she cuts off her own head and she feeds them with her own 2 streams of blood. The 3rd stream, which her own head, which goes into her own mouth, is because Shakti's blood is not supposed to fall on the ground. The problem with Hinduism is that we do not know. We Hindus do not know much about our very ancient, very beautiful, very valuable texts.
You gave an excellent example, because if you look at the textbooks in California for 6th grade children, Hinduism is introduced with 2 pictures. One of Nataraja dancing on a small baby, that's how they say it, and the other one is of Kali and of Kali drinking blood. I mean, we are up against that, and we are trying to tell them Sanatana Dharma is much more than this. This is the wrong depiction, and business interests are trying to prevent this from being changed and from the correct history being represented. This is a multi-year battle. It's going on, but I just felt that I should mention this because I wish our parents, whoever had the chance of explaining to their children, explain at least even 10% of some of the manifestations of this great goddess Shakti. So, Lakshmi ji, you have traveled the breadth and length of the world. I mean, you've been to many temples. You are every time, I talk to you, you are in some temple doing some puja. To you, what is the meaning of life? I've been always curious to ask about this, because someone who has had the kind of life that you've had up till now, right now, I see you completely devoting yourself to bhakti, jnana. I mean, from bhakti, jnana comes, I don't know, I'm not very good at explaining some of these things, but right now, I see you on an endless pilgrimage. That's how I can say it. You've been to so many temples. I wish I was there along with you, just follow you along to see all these temples.
Come with your beautiful wife next time. Maybe you
Right.
should.
No, I think perhaps what would be useful for our viewers is you can explain what drives you to do this thing, that you feel like I need to be in this temple doing this particular puja ceremony. I mean, we have talked about various things, right? I mean, we've we've talked about many things in Hinduism. I just wanted to ask you, what makes you feel that I want to go to this temple this week, next temple the next week, and so on. Perhaps you can share this. It's a very profound thing. I have not seen anybody do it the way you do it. I'm just curious if it is okay with you.
Of course, first of all, I'm lucky. It is her blessings. It is actually Ma's blessings that I am able to do this. Okay, because without her permission, this would not happen. Okay, that's point one. Point two, I would like to touch upon, maybe this is something which may be controversial. Everybody is now going on and on about conversions, right?
Yeah.
One of the best things which Hindus, I don't mean it as a religion, okay? I mean it as a group of people who have a certain philosophy, should do is actually convert the Hindus into Hinduism. We
No, that's
should
not
go back.
controversial at all. That's not controversial at all. Please continue. That is the most important thing that you're saying here.
Yes, yes. So what has happened is that we have been so cut off from our what our essence is. Okay, that we see, all of us, every human being that I know, we are pieces, we are shards of the divine. It personally, to me, the divine means Ma. It can equally be Shiva, it can equally be Ganesha, it can equally be Vishnu, it can be anything, it really doesn't matter. Now, it's as simple as I prefer coffee and you may prefer tea. It's as simple as that. There's something. The whole problem is what is beautiful and simple in Hinduism. We are trying to, make it into something which it is not. We're trying to look um, erudite, and we are losing touch with the reality because of that. Okay, that is one thing. And the second thing is, there are certain temples which I go to because I love them, because they're very peaceful, they're very beautiful. In your state, in Tamil Nadu, some of the most beautiful idols I have seen of both gods and goddesses are in Tamil Nadu. They are really, look, if you look at them, if you just look at them visually, they're so beautiful that they give you a positive feeling. Now, if you go to any place of worship, please, this is applicable for churches, mosques, everything. If you go to any place of worship, it should give you, at the bottom line, it should give you a good feeling, a positive feeling. Okay? And you asked me what life means for me, right? Personally. As far as I am concerned, tuck, on one day you're born, you don't have a choice. And zoom, you exit on X day, you don't even know. Actually, all of us are passing the anniversary of our death as vehemently as we are passing our anniversary of birth. The difference being we don't know which the day is, right? So, after you're born, and once you reach the age of cognition, okay, once you start, when you're a kid, you're very much part of what the surrounding, the adults who surround you say and do, correct? You have no choice. But
Yes.
once you start um, you know thinking for yourself, cognition, etc., 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 then you start wondering, what is it, I mean, why am I born, why are you born? This is a question um, which really affects all of us. And I would say that the whole of life is, it's not a ready-made answer. It's an evolving answer. And the whole of life is an evolution. It's just an evolution. And then you find a niche, you find a slot where you're comfortable, or you find certain slots where you're not comfortable. You learn to avoid them. You Naturally, we always like being with people we love, right? Rather than
Right.
people we hate.
Right.
I mean, it's
Right.
obvious. So it's that. And for each one, the journey is very personal. The journey is very individualistic, because what works for you may not work for me. Having said that, I would say that we have been taught, because of our history, some of it most unfortunate, some of it, well, so so. We have been taught that this is your body, okay? Point A is your body, point B is your mind, point C is your atma, soul, whatever, okay? And we are taught from childhood that it is body versus mind versus soul. So there is no need for an outside enemy to come and fight us, because we are fighting with ourselves. Each person is fighting with oneself. So then, if I'm fighting with myself, I mean, I can barely say, "Hi, Shri, how are you?" That's it. We cannot cooperate because I am so busy fighting with all my so called divided selves, as you are. And this is a brilliant tactic which has been employed and which is still being employed to the moment you make a person doubt himself or herself, 50% of your battle is done.
So
If it makes
true.
any sense to you.
Now, see, the beauty about Sanatana Dharma is that it allows you to find your path to God. And that is the flexibility that the Dharma offers. It is not like you have to go and do this to get moksha. Equivalent of that in other religions. This is so flexible. It's an open architecture. You can find your way to God. And I think if I understood what you just said, I think that's what you are trying to say, that you need to figure out to become a better Hindu. For a Hindu to become a better Hindu, they need to find out what that path is for themselves.
Yes, and you have to find it out. You have to devise that path. There's no map. There's no ready-made map which is handed over to you. Say now you go from point A, B, C, and then you'll reach your destination. No, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, we'll become clones. Even if you are a clone of a very wonderful and beautiful thing, whatever it is, or person, you're still a clone.
Yes, indeed. And Lakshmiji, I think we can keep talking about this. And you've been a breath of fresh air, because we talk about very weighty issues like politics and this and that. But today we have kind of taken a step back and looked at the Hinduism as a religion. And it's truly enlightening to hear you share your thoughts with our viewers. I'm hoping that you will find the time to share more such thoughts with us in the near future. Until then, thank you very much and namaskaram.
Thank you. Namaste.